Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video this morning I am going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news. Keep you up to date with what players are linked with Manchester United, and we do know that signings are desperately needed because it is deadline day on Friday and Manchester United have not yet signed anybody. Before we get into the transfer news, I just want to say Manchester United have been drawn against Derby, the winners of Derby and Northampton in the FA Cup fifth round. So possibly, Wayne Rooney, could be reuniting with Manchester United because he is player manager of Derby. Don't forget, Rooney, of course, did serve 13 years at Manchester United as a player and scored 253 goals. So he's my record. He's an all-time goal scorer. He's Wayne Rooney. So whoever wins a replay out of Derby in Northampton, we do play in the fifth round. Arsenal did beat Bournemouth yesterday night by 2-1, so I think Arsenal play Portsmouth in the fifth round at Fratton Park. So revert back to what I said regarding the transfer news. On this video, I am going to be giving you some more news regarding Islam Slamani. Also going to be giving you some latest news regarding Edison Cavani, and also going to keep you up to date of what's going on with Bruno Fernandes, and there's lots of other things to currently talk about. So the first topic of the development I'm going to start with is Islam Slamani. Now, reportedly Manchester United and Tottenham are in talks for Islam Slamani. Now, the main explanation for this is because, we're after a striker, reflecting on the injury to Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, I think, is set to be sidelined for at least 2 months. With he's got a double fracture in his back, basically, and there was reports when he sustained the injury saying that he could be out for at least 6 weeks. So Rashford's injury is very severe. And with Tottenham, they've also got Harry Kane out injured for quite some time. So obviously, Man United and Tottenham are in search for a striker. Basically, Islam Slamani has basically asked Monaco to end his loan, so he does want to be moved on. But if Man United and Tottenham are to get Islam Slamani, I think they'd have to pay around a loan fee of around £4 million, basically. Now, Islam Slamani is 31 years of age, so he is aging up. Don't really know much about the player. I think he's had a few loan spells before he was at Monaco. He had a loan spell with Fenerbahce. He also had the loan spell with Newcastle. Leicester did get him back in 2016 from Sporting Lisbon. I think they paid around £28 or £29 million. At that current time, it was a record signing. Then, back in 2016, Leicester's record signing now is Youri Tielemans. But yeah, definitely Islam Slamani does want to leave. So we're looking to get him on loan until the end of the season. So Man United and Tottenham are both in talks for Islam Slamani. So that's the latest news on him. So do you think he would be the right solution for Man United? Do you think he would be able to assure us goals? We will see. The latest news regarding Edison Cavani, don't forget, was it the other week, he handed a transfer request in at PSG. So obviously he is leaving PSG. Now obviously, Man United went in for him. Chelsea have also inquired about his availability, and also Athletico Madrid are in for him. It confirmed the other day that Edison Cavani had turned Manchester United down. And because the main explanations why this is because his preference is a move to Atletico Madrid. I think it has confirmed today that Edison Cavani's agent has flown out to Madrid, to get the deal finalised. PSG have said they want around £25 million. I think Atletico Madrid are reluctant to meet that. I think Atletico Madrid are only determined to pay over £12 million, but Atletico Madrid have already had an £8.4 million bid turned down, basically, for the player. But he did say if Man United and Chelsea, would have got him, we'd have had, one of us would have had to pay a substantial amount, or both of them would have had to pay around £66 million to get him on the board. But I wouldn't have wanted Edison Cavani at Manchester United anywhere. I wouldn't have wanted him at Manchester United. I've got, the main explanations why I wouldn't have wanted him at Manchester United anyway, because his age. I've got an element of concern regarding his age because he is 32, he's Edison Cavani. Plus he's injury prone. And plus he's never played in the Premier League. Don't get me wrong, I think he's enjoyed a very good career with PSG. He's been a long-serving player with them. He's enjoyed 7 years as with PSG as Edison Cavani. He's obviously the record goal scorer with 198 goals in 293 games in all competitions. And obviously his current contract is due to expire at the end of the season. So PSG aren't going to get a substantial amount for him. PSG did pay around £55 million to him from Napoli back in 2013. So it is looking likely, he's going to be going to Athletico Madrid. Obviously, from an Athletico Madrid perspective, they did at the first have element of concerns regarding his wage demands. So yeah, it's looking likely he's going to Athletico Madrid. If it isn't finalised today, I think it will be finalised sometime this week. It'll be probably done before deadline day. So we're not going to get Edison Cavani on the board. Obviously, another striker's been on our agenda, like I mentioned yesterday. We've inquired about Odion Igalo, who currently plays in China. I think he's been in China now. As he served a few years in China, he plays for Shanghai, Greenland, Shenhua. Does this player? I think he's also had a spell with Watford. He is 30 years of age, so Man United have also inquired about him. So the latest news now regarding Bruno Fernandes is that he did play for Sporting Lisbon yesterday against Martimo. He captained the team. Sporting Lisbon did beat Martimo by 1-0. They did. The Sporting Lisbon boss has come out and he's given us an update on Bruno Fernandes, and he doesn't know if that was his last game for Sporting Lisbon. There was reports coming out prior to the game yesterday saying that his transfer to Man United is imminent. This is what it had basically said. But now it does still say that Man United and Sporting Lisbon do remain in negotiations. Reportedly, Sporting Lisbon, have said they want around £62 million. So they have lowered their demands basically, because I think at the first they wanted around £68 million. Now, obviously, not too long ago we met up with Federico Fernandes, the Sporting Lisbon president. We discussed an improved offer, because we did improve our offer. I think our recent offer is 46 or 47 million pounds up front with 12 million in add-ons basically. This is our new offer, because we recently had a previous bid turned down. The first bid we put in was around 42 or 43 million up front with around 8.5 million in add-ons. But obviously, Sporting Lisbon weren't happy with the structure of the offer basically. But we've got to get this deal over the line before Friday for Bruno Fernandes. Some reports were emerging out saying that, we could actually, get Bruno Fernandes on deadline day. But, Bruno Fernandes has already confirmed that he wants to join Manchester United. Also, George Mendes has been working really hard on Bruno Fernandes' transfer to Man United. He has been in Manchester quite a few times. Also, Damasio's come out, who's a very reliable Italian journalist. And, he's also confirmed, Man United's interest in Bruno Fernandes. He did say, with the problems with Ed Woodward and the Glazers at Man United, that's actually whole stalling Bruno Fernandes' transfer to Manchester United. But yeah, we've been relentlessly linked to him. We should have got him at the beginning of the month. I think we should have actually got him last summer, because we was relentlessly linked to him last summer. But the main explanation why we didn't get Bruno Fernandes last summer is because we was not willing to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation. Because Sporting Lisbon said last summer they wanted around £70 million. Man United were only determined to pay around £50 million for him. So that's the main reason why we didn't get him. Last summer Tottenham wanted him. City were close to getting him. Liverpool had inquired about his availability. But he does want to come to Manchester United, does Bruno Fernandes. And, like I said, we are one of the biggest clubs in the world. We've got we've spent a hell of a lot of money in the last 6 or 7 years. I think we've spent nearly £1 billion on recruiting new players in. And our recruitment's been very, very poor in the last 6 or 7 years. That's probably one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. We've also got the highest wage bill in the Premier League. So, like I said, we've got the financial power to meet what Sporting Lisbon are demanding. And of course, if we, get rid of more players this year, then obviously, we can generate some money, for their current departures. But we're known for overpaying for players anywhere in recent years. So I think we should just pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanding. So if we are to get him, we'll probably get him in a deal worth around £62 million. But Bruno Fernandes would dramatically improve our squad, definitely. He's predominantly an attacking midfielder. He can provide goals from that midfield. He can create chances. He can provide assists. Very, very good player. And I know he's not played in the Premier League as yet, and he hasn't played in the Premier League. But like I've mentioned, I think he's now got the minerals to come and succeed in the Premier League, definitely. So I think if he comes to the Premier League, he can replicate what he's done in his couple of years in Portugal with Sporting Lisbon, definitely. And I know Sporting Lisbon basically got him for next to nothing. They only paid around £7 million for him from Sampdoria. But obviously, analysed his good performances in the couple of years he's been with Sporting Lisbon, his valuation has persistently grown. Obviously, he's had some bad spells as a Sporting Lisbon player. Obviously, it said a couple of weeks ago that obviously, Sporting Lisbon were demanding Marcus Rojo as part of the deal. Also it said that Andres Pereira could be as part of the deal. But if this deal does get finalised, it will be a straight cash deal, basically. Personal terms have already been agreed. A lot of Portuguese outlets confirmed that the other week that the personal terms have already been agreed, and he's set to earn around £120,000 a week. So hopefully, we can get this deal over the line, because Bruno Fernandes is our number one priority target. And of course, that midfield is one of the priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up. Because we need a replacement for Fernando Herrera, because he left last summer. And obviously, we need a replacement for Paul Pogba. Pogba, I think, is still going to leave Manchester United in the summer. But we do look very exposed in that midfield, reflecting on the injuries to Paul Pogba and Scott McTominay. And at least when they do come back, we'll see more creativeness in our midfield, to be fair. So yeah, there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. And I think Solskjaer's confirmed from his own perception that he wants to bring around 6 signings to Manchester United and that. But we will see what happens. So definitely no more incomings are needed, and we've got to get the right calibre players in, that can elevate us forward and get us back to being a competitive elite level football club. So this is a very, very imperative, definitely. But I think overall, anyway, there is cultural problems at the football club. And I think we need to see a variety of changes at the club. I think there's problems with the management. There's a lot of problems with Ed Woodward and the Glazers. You've got a lot of United fans that are protesting Ed Woodward and the Glazers. Of course, there's a lot of issues with the board. I said that our board have been a liability for several years. And I still think, there's a lot of problematic players at Man United. I think we need to get rid of around 6 or 7 players this year, definitely in that. Without a shadow of a doubt, basically. And like I said, my perception on Solskjaer is I still don't think he's the right manager for Manchester United. Despite the fact that we had a really, really good win against Tranmere. And it's good that, we have progressed into the 5th round of the FA Cup. And, that's a priority for us now, is the FA Cup. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but there's a chance we could win the FA Cup, because we should beat Northampton or Derby. So we should actually, progress to the quarterfinals. We progressed to the quarterfinals last season. But even if we don't win it this season, it would be good for us to enjoy a good cup run. Solskjaer was recently, speaking about the importance of us getting silverware on the board. The Europa League's a priority for us, because that's also another chance of getting silverware on the board, plus another route to Champions League football. And, top 4 is a priority for us. We're 6 points behind top 4 at the moment. And we are still in that top 4 race. The only main explanation why we're in that top 4 race is because Chelsea have been so inconsistent. But Solskjaer said a while back, he gave us an update on our top 4 ambitions, and he says he thinks the only way we'll get top 4 is if we can find that consistency, basically. So we have got quite a few priorities. I think, the club will be determined to give Solskjaer another season at the club. if, he exceeds these expectations. So if we get the top four, and if we get some silverware on the board, then I think we'll be determined to give him another season. Maybe even if we get the top four, we could still be determined to give him another season, because this is Solskjaer's first full season as Manchester United manager. He's been here in total now for 13 months. So he has been here over a year. And of course, the club made one mistake, and that was giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis. Obviously, we had to pay a bit more money to Mould to give him the job on a permanent basis. He's got around now 2.5 years left on his deal, and he's on around £7.5 million a year. Totally comparison to what he was on at Mould, because he was on like £400,000 a year when he was at Mould, Solskjaer. But I think he's been permanent boss now for around 10 months. And analysing the vast majority of that 10 months, he has endured a really difficult time. Overall, I think we've endured a difficult start to 2020 in that, we've lost to the likes of Arsenal, lost to the likes of Liverpool, losing to Burnley at home and that. But, it was good. It was a good reaction from the players, beating Tranmere, by 6-0. Obviously, Solskjaer did go with a lot of first teamers in the game against Tranmere, because obviously he didn't want to take many risks, basically, because he knows that he's been under intense pressure and that. And I still think he's under pressure at the football club now anyway. But he did go with a lot of first teamers in that game against Tranmere. That was our biggest away win in any competition since we beat Nottingham Forest 8-1 back in 1999. And the first time we've scored 6 goals since the Alex Ferguson era. So it was good to beat Tranmere, because, we've had back-to-back defeats in the Premier League, like I said. So hopefully now we can go on a good winning run. We've got 2 big games coming up. We've got Man City in the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg tomorrow at the Etihad. Then we've got Wolves coming up in the Premier League at home, which is also going to be a tough game. You saw my preview for the Man City Man United game yesterday. I won't fully disregard it, actually. I'm very, very sceptical that Man United are going to progress to the final now, because, we are 3-1 down from the first leg against Man City. And obviously, we've now got to overcome a 2-goal deficit. So I think we've got to win around 3-0 at the Etihad, haven't we? Because I think, if I'm right, away goals do count in the Carabao Cup. And I can't see us scoring 3 times, and I can't see City not scoring at the Etihad, because actually, City's home record's very, very good. I know they've lost there twice this season. They lost to us there in the league. They lost to Wolves there. But if we can replicate a performance out there we showed against them in the league early on this season, you just never know, basically. I do believe Solskjaer will make changes from the 6-0 win against Tranmere and that. Some people now believe that Solskjaer should persist with a back three. Owen Hargreaves came out and he gave his overarching view on it all, and, he feels as though Solskjaer needs help at the club to elevate him forward. But he says Solskjaer should persist with the back three, because Solskjaer has not gone with a back three a lot this season. There's only the odd game here and there where he's gone with a back three. Went with a back three against Tranmere. Also went with a back three in the 1-1 draw with Liverpool earlier on in the season. And he went with the back three, I think, in one of the games against Partizan Belgrade in the group stage. And it seems to suit our standards, does the back three. We've been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation far too much this season. I think in the vast majority of our games, it hasn't suited our standards. So maybe we should consider going with the back three against Man City in that. And you obviously, you saw my starting 11 prediction yesterday. But, City, of course, are looking, to win their 3rd Carabao Cup on the trot, basically, because City have won the Carabao Cup in the last 2 seasons. They won it last season, they beat Chelsea in the final, and they won it the season before, they beat Arsenal in the final. I think overall, they've won it 4 times out of the last 6 years. So, Man City, are very consistent in the Carabao Cup, especially. That's chance of getting more silver on the board for Man City. I think they could possibly, win the FA Cup, don't forget. Could Man City. I don't think they'll win the Champions League because obviously they've no pedigree in the Champions League anywhere. Obviously, they're not going to win the league because Liverpool are going to win the league for the first time in 30 years. So Liverpool are definitely not going to win the league. Liverpool are what? 16 points in front of City, 19 in front of Leicester. They've got the chance to, go further clear if they do beat West Ham tomorrow at the London Stadium, basically. But Liverpool are breaking records. They are unbeaten in 40 Premier League games. They haven't lost at Anfield in almost 3 years with Liverpool. So it is Liverpool's Premier League this season. Pep Guardiola's obviously, thrown the towel in a while back. And, he just says now, reflecting on the league, City are fighting for runners up. But I think City is still going to get some silverware on the board this season. And City are strides ahead of us at the moment, and that City is still regarded as the second best team in England now at this present time. Obviously, they've won back-to-back titles of Man City. They won the domestic treble last season. They matched my club's greatest achievement. From 1999. Obviously, the treble was comparison because theirs was an English domestic treble. Ours was obviously, the Champions League, the Premier League, and the FA Cup and that. And this season was looking to win their third title on the trot, were Man City. And you can say, obviously, Man City have obviously, bought success, basically, reflecting on the amount of money they have spent, because they have spent quite a lot of money of Man City. I think, Pep Guardiola spent over £1 billion during his managerial career. That's including when he was at Barcelona and Bayern Munich. But more than half of that £1 billion or so has been invested into that Manchester City team, don't forget. It's been invested in that Manchester City team. So you can say they have bought success, because Man City have spent, Liverpool have spent nowhere near to the extent of what City have spent, or what we've spent over the years. I think we've spent at least 100 or 150 million pounds more than Liverpool in the last 6 or 7 years. So Liverpool have been sensible with their recruitment, like I mentioned. They don't overpay for players, and they are still sitting top of the league. And also take into account as well, Liverpool have had injuries this season. City have got a few injuries. I think, they've got Benjamin Mendy out injured. Leroy Sané, I think, has been out injured. Is he back now? I'm not sure. John Stones has been injured, like I said. Anyway, John Stones doesn't even really get in the Manchester City team. He possibly, could be moved on at one point. Because Otamendi and Fernandinho are Pep Guardiola's preference, even though they're not predominantly centre-backs. And obviously, when Laporte gets back into the team, John Stones is not going to get any chances ever, basically. But, like I said, City have got a really, really good squad. There's players I would take at Manchester United from City. I think that Jesus is very, very good. Sergio Aguero, very, very good. Very, very clinical is Sergio Aguero. I like Sterling, I like Bernardo Silva. I thought he had a great game against us in the first leg at Old Trafford. He got a goal and got an assist. Mahrez played well in the game at Old Trafford. City got him in the summer of 2018 from Leicester. Ilkay Gundogan, not too bad for Man City either. Kyle Walker, who they got from Tottenham, was it a couple of years ago. One of the most expensive English fullbacks. I think City paid £50-odd million for him. But I've got to be honest, I think, Man City are going to win this game, against us. But I hate to say that, but, we're 3-1 down from the first leg, as you all know and that. So, reverting back to what I said, I think Solskjaer should stick with 3 at the back, definitely. So, is Solskjaer against Pep Guardiola yet again? They've met each other on a few occasions now. Solskjaer overcame Pep Guardiola in the league meeting at the Etihad Stadium. So, Solskjaer, of course, will be looking to beat Pep Guardiola again. I think Pep Guardiola at the moment has beat Solskjaer twice, hasn't he? Because I think, they beat us 2-0 last season at Old Trafford. Was it 2-0? Yeah. And, of course, they beat us 3-1 in the first leg. So, hopefully, where we can get something from this game and that. So, obviously, we do know now that Eric Bailly is back from injury, which is very, very good news. Bailly was out for quite some time. He was out with a knee injury, so he was out since pre-season, and he hasn't played in the Premier League since April. I'm surprised Bailly wasn't involved in the game against Tranmere. There's reports saying that he could have been involved. Obviously, Fosu Mensah, he's now also back from injury. he's also been playing for the under-23s. I think Solskjaer actually views Fosu Mensah as a right back. So he's now back. So whether they're going to be involved in the game against City or not, I do not know. Rashford's still out. Poppy McTominay's still out. I think Tuanzebe's still out. He's been out for quite some time. It's Tuanzebe. Rojo's still out. Solskjaer will be doing his press conference today. So later on today, I will be giving you my reaction to his press conference. I'm sure he will be providing us with an update on some transfers and the team news and all that. So it'll be interesting to see what Solskjaer has got to say. Diego Dalot now, I do believe, will get more chances. He did play against Tranmere because he's now back from injury, because he's sustained quite a few injuries this season and that. But Solskjaer did rest a couple of key players against Tranmere. Like I said, De Gea wasn't in goal. It was Sergio Romero in goal. But Romero tends to start in the cup games. And Wan-Bissaka didn't play against Tranmere, so I think he will start at right back. Obviously Daniel James was rested against Tranmere. I think Brandon Williams will start against City. He did come off the bench against Tranmere, but I think he'll start him against Man City, because I think now Solskjaer views Brandon Williams as his first choice left back and that, and all that. So he will make some change. I think Fred will also start this game. I think Mason Greenwood should start this game. I think, Solskjaer needs to start playing Mason Greenwood more on a regular basis. He doesn't play him enough in the league from the start. In the cup games, he seems to, start him a lot, but he doesn't play him enough in the start from the Premier League. And Mason Greenwood's been a revelation, and he's on 10 goals this season in 20-odd fifth-team appearances. So I do feel as though that when he develops more, he will emulate to Rashford's level. Probably will end up overtaking Rashford, to be fair. And he is only the age of 18, is Mason Greenwood. So I'd love him to start this current game. So I think the players I would get rid of, these two players I would be determined to keep at Man United. I would get rid of Phil Jones, because we can generate money for his departure, because he signed a new long-term contract last season, and Jones has endured 8 years here. This is now his 9th season at Manchester United, and we have got quite a few long-serving players, and he has been long-serving players at the club. Valencia left last season after he endured 10 years at Man United. Young left this year after he endured 8.5 years at Man United. We obviously had Herrera. He left last summer. He endured a good 5 years at Man United. So there is a few in that. There is a few, and Jones has been a long-serving player. You've got Juan Mata. He's been here now 5 years. He's down to his 6th season at Manchester United. I'd probably still be determined to keep him, despite the fact that he has lost that yard of pace. Juan Mata, so I'd be determined to keep him. I'd get rid of Matic. He's now into his 3rd season at the football club. He's too slow, too ineffective in that midfield. I'd get rid of Andres Pereira. I'd get with Jesse Lingard, and I was saying at the first I would get rid of Jesse Lingard, but he had a great game against Tranmere, scoring his first goal in over a year and that, because last year he didn't score one single goal or one single assist. If he can rejuvenate himself, then and he can improve his performances, then maybe my perceptions will start to change. But until then, I wouldn't be determined to keep Lingard, because he's been so inconsistent for the vast majority of this season. And look how long he's been here. I think up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Man United, if I'm right. And he should be putting much more better performances out. Like I said, this season he should be performing as good as Rashford and Martial, because he knows the club more than them well, because he's been here, longer than them. As Jesse Lingard, but he's been very, very poor. And obviously, I think there was recent reports saying he was linked to a move to Leicester. Chong, I think he needs to be loaned out, because not good enough. I thought he was okay against Tranmere, and plus he doesn't really get enough chances anywhere. I don't think Chong is at that level as yet. And it did say that Juventus and Inter Milan have inquired about his availability. So one of them, I think, will be getting him on a free transfer at the end of the season when his current contract expires. Some people are saying that Luke Shaw now needs to be moved on at Manchester United, because Luke Shaw, you can say he's been inconsistent this season. He's sustained a lot of injuries since his arrival from Southampton. But I think he was at the same at Southampton. He sustained a lot of injuries, did Luke Shaw. And yeah, so maybe Man United will consider getting rid of Luke Shaw. A couple of weeks ago, he was linked with a move to Leicester. It was good last season because last season Luke Shaw won the double player of the season. So there's definitely more players that need to leave Manchester United and that. With Solskjaer, like I said, if we decided to get rid of him with any time within this 2.5 year period, Man United would have to pay to get rid of him. Would have to pay around £5 million in compensation. So that's around £15 million less than Jose Mourinho. Because we paid around 20 million to get rid of Mourinho. We paid around 9 million to get rid of Van Gaal, 6 million to get rid of Moyes. But can we afford to get rid of Solskjaer? Because don't forget, we're still paying Moyes', Van Gaal's and Mourinho's salaries, despite the fact, that Man United have sacked them. So I think we just need to get a manager in at the top level, a manager with a proven pedigree. But there again, we've had two world-class managers in Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And of course, their tenures didn't work out. So I think sacking Solskjaer at this present time wouldn't be the right solution, because not all of the blame stems from him, basically, in that. I think everyone is definitely responsible. But, we're determined to give him this. We're determined to, I think, give him another couple of windows. Some people leave. We need to give him at least a couple of more windows. So yeah, guys, that's everything to update you with today. So that's your latest on the transfers and a bit more of a build-up to the Man City game. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe. As always, take care. God bless.